Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jedi Knights Watch. My name is Graham, and today we're going to be doing a video on the figures that I've modified in my collection. If you've been paying attention to my Instagram, you've seen that I've modded a couple figures, a couple Batman figures recently, and it kind of got the juices flowing, like customizing figures and just kind of making them as best as they can be, looking as accurate as possible. And I was looking at my collection and be like, what other figures have I modified over the time that I've been collecting? And I'm like, I should just do a video on the figures that I've modified and what I've done to them, and maybe you guys would be interested in that. So that's what we're going to do today. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you're watching and you're liking the content that I'm making, please hit that like button and ring the bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. Also, stay tuned for Wolfpack Wednesdays on Wednesday nights at 9:30 Eastern Time with Dilo the Collector, Brick Artemis, and Evil Sneaker. Always a fun time talking about news and 1/6 scale figures. All right, let's get into it. And let's start small here. Let's start simple here, but simple but yet a huge difference. And it's going to be the Hot Toys Doc Brown figure from Back to the Future 1. When I got the figure, I tried to overlook the head sculpt that Hot Toys gave us. It was a complete recopy of Back to the Future 2. The head sculpt had the slots in for the sunglasses, and it was just a really horrible, lazy design by Hot Toys. Like to not even just plug the holes for the sides at least. But the look also on the head sculpt was very one-dimensional. It was tough to do a lot of different poses with that open mouth kind of look. So finally, 1/6 Kit had a different Doc Brown head sculpt from I don't know who made it exactly, but it's a little bit more caricature-like, but it still works. I think the likeness to Christopher Lloyd is a lot better. I think the expression on the head sculpt is also a lot better, and you can do so much more with this figure. And I think the difference is really night and day from going to stock to this new head sculpt, and it really just kind of puts the figure over the top, I guess I would say. Like, I'm proud to show it off. I love it now. I'm not embarrassed to show it. I got frustrated with trying to pose him and get it to look good because of that stock head sculpt. So anyways, this Doc Brown head sculpt from 1/6 Kit really just helps this figure out a lot. Next one that we're going to go venture into Star Wars a little bit here, and it's going to be the Rogue One Death Trooper Specialist. When I got the figure, the pauldron was peeling pleather. If we've had pleather figures, we know the peeling, and it's a terrible feeling when it happens. I tried a method, and I did a video on the old Catwoman, and I peeled it off and painted it with acrylic paint and sealed it up. It worked pretty well. I mean, it's a way that you can restore your figures, and this pauldron was no different. It was peeling, so I pretty much just peeled the whole pleather off. We started fresh. You can see that it was like a fabric material underneath, and then we coated it with, I think, 4 coats of the acrylic paint, and then put a sealer on it as well. And maybe it doesn't look 100% the same that it did before, but I think it looks amazing, and it really gives life back to these figures that have the pleather material. So like if you have boots or belts or pauldrons or anything like that that are peeling, maybe even a coat, it's a bigger project, but it can be done. You know, you can save these figures. So go watch that video on the pauldron as well. But it was, again, not a ton of modification here, but enough that a figure just looked terrible to making it look amazing again. And honestly, when you're just looking at it, you know, in the display, you don't even notice that it's like different. It looks perfectly fine. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. All right, next is one of my newest modifications, and it's the Batman Begins figure. And again, a lot like the Doc Brown, this was one that I was very ashamed of that Hot Toys gave us this offering, especially for a Batman figure, especially for, I don't know, the 3rd or 4th go around with Batman Begins. Like, this is the best you could give us with the goofy cowl and the goofy faceplates. Oh, I wanted to hide him in the shadows. It was so bad. But I got a really good deal on him, so I knew I was going to go with modifications. And it started with the Jackson Ju custom cape, and it just lays so much better than the stock one. It looks more natural. It really forms around the figure and just actually makes the figure, just like the body, the proportions look a lot better. I also took some stuffing, some cotton balls, and I just stuffed the chest just a little bit, just to bulk him up just a little. I painted the gauntlets a glossy black just to kind of match movie accuracy a little bit more. And then the biggest impact was going to be the Jackson Ju head sculpt that I just got a couple weeks ago, and it is night and day better than what we got from Hot Toys. And it really, all of this together makes this Batman Begins figure so impressive in my perspective, and something that I really love showing off in the collection now. He's next to the tumbler and he's just badass looking. So really happy with how that one turned out too. Let's go to Marvel. Another recent modification that I did was my Loki figure. So I was never the biggest fan of Loki until the TVA series came out, and most of my Marvel figures are going to be like Infinity War Endgame line. So TVA, really good figure, very underrated, but kind of stuck out a little bit with the rest of the gang. So I was always kind of eyeing the Endgame Loki that came out recently, but really wasn't a big fan of the head sculpt and the big helmet. I would rather have him without, and really like the TVA head sculpt. So I finally pulled the trigger because I was able to get an Endgame Loki for dirt cheap. And what I did was I used the body, and then obviously like his spear or his sword. I don't know what the correct term is, but so he's holding that, and then I used the TVA head as well as the TVA hand with like the magic effect in the hand. I think it looks really cool. I think this is one of the best Tom Hiddleston head sculpts we've gotten to date. The new God Loki looks really good, but I really wanted the Endgame look, but the TVA head sculpt. So that's what we did here. We kind of mixed and matched the head and the hand and the accessories. And I still left Miss Minutes down there at the bottom too. I just think she looks cool too, because even with 2012 Loki, you know, in the beginning of TVA, he kind of comes down there and, you know, when he gets captured and whatnot. So anyways, I really like how this looks. For now, it seems like it's the ultimate Loki. We'll see what happens when God Loki comes out, or if they ever give us that other throne. But I'm really impressed with this figure. A little sad that I'm not using my TVA Loki, but if I ever find a good deal on a head sculpt or you know, another TVA, then maybe I'll do that and pull the trigger and display him as TVA as well. And finally, one of the latest modifications that I've been doing is with my Batman figure from the 2022 movie The Batman, the Pattinson Batman, if you will. Done a lot to this figure. Basically what it starts with is the OT Customs collar, which is a little bit wider. It's not going to be as tight as the Hot Toys stock one is, so it's a little bit more movie accurate. And then I followed Dilo the Collector's video on how to modify the body, make the proportions better. So taking the fat suit off, adding some padding in there, but then also using the Mando fat suit and modifying that a little bit too. You can go check out his video on his channel. He did one, I did not. And I think it looks a lot better. And then I also painted the cowl, the collar and the neck piece a flat black. I don't know, I just thought in the movie he looked more flat black, and I wanted it to look a little bit more dull, I guess. And that's what I did, and I really like how this looks now. I may keep going and paint more of the armor. I know Dilo has done that, and he'll have a video coming out soon. So that might be something I do down the road too. I also have a custom draping cape coming too. I'm having a hard time working with this cape and making it look natural. So I think a cape would really help this Batman figure too. But lots of mods done to this guy. Mainly the proportions in the body, the shoulders, the traps, and then painting the cowl and the neck piece as well. So I think he looks really good. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I should keep going, paint the shoulder pieces, the arm pieces, as well as like the boots and stuff? Love to hear from you in the comments below. Those are the figures that I've modded in my collection. I've done some in the past too, with like John Wick 2, where I've painted the beard to be a little thicker, but I have since sold that figure. But and then that Catwoman figure too. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully maybe it gave you some ideas on some things you can do. You know, now that I've taken the plunge and modified some of these, especially the Batman, I feel like I can take most figures apart and hopefully mod them. One that I've thought about before we go is the Snow Speeder Luke. I think he looks a little too chubby. I think there's too much stuffing in the neck piece. I've thought about taking that one apart and seeing if I could take the fat suit off, maybe adjusting the belt and then adjusting the neck piece too, to be a little, give him more of a neck. You know, he was a slender guy, so that's something I'm thinking about doing. Let me know if you think I should do that, or if I should just leave it and it's good as is. I need to hear from you. So, because it's been, the people I've talked to, it's been pretty split 50-50. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. Until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.